Hi, today we will learn Dutch or Netherlands about these words. We already learned about some of them in the previous video long time ago, but now I will put some here because I found it's interesting that some words or similar can have different meaning in other languages. So let's start it. Opa in Dutch is grandfather. Opa. Opa in bahasa Indonesia is also grandfather, or sometimes you might hear silent H, opa. And we have opak in Indonesian language or bahasa Indonesia, or kue opak. Kue is cookie. Opak or kue opak, the special cookie, or there's cookie kue opak. And oppa in Korea is older brother, or when you call a person who is old enough to be your older brother, oppa. But you have to be female to call that person oppa, because if you are male and you have to call a person that is old enough to be your older brother, if you are male, you cannot call him with oppa, you have to call him with hyung. And there's interesting thing in Indonesian language or bahasa Indonesia. Opa is from Dutch, of course, because Indonesia had been colonized by the Netherlands for 350 years. We get several words from Dutch, like this opa, but the formal word for grandfather is kakek. Interesting thing, if you replace this letter with this letter, E in English or A in Indonesian language, A in English or A in Indonesian language, this one it becomes older sister or older brother, or when you have to call a person who is old enough to be your older sister or older brother, you call that person with kakak. And this kakek is grandfather. In Indonesian language, there's papa or papa, is from Dutch, papa, father. In Korea, there's appa, also means father. But if the appa with one P, it means it hurts or hurts. So in Korea, 1P or 2P. 1P, 2P. One, appa, hurts or it hurts. But if two, appa, it means father. In Sundanese or West Java province in Indonesia, appa, it means father. You pronounce it as appa, appa, father. Sundanese or West Java province. In Indonesian language or bahasa Indonesia, apa is a word, it means what. Apa is what in Indonesian language or bahasa Indonesia. The formal Indonesian language to say father is bapak, but sometimes we use also papa or papa, or sometimes we discount the K when we call also the informal bapak. Bapak, bapak, father. In English, we have ape. In Indonesia, we have cookie, another kind of cookie. Ape or kue ape. It looks same the way you write it, but you call it different. You pronounce it different. Ape. This one is ape or kue ape. The food cookie. And I'm mix of several ethnicity. I'm mix of Sundanese or from West Java province, and I'm also mix of Japanese, and I'm also have Chinese descent from my grandmothers, grandfathers. So Sundanese, Japanese, and Chinese descent. So sometimes I kind of know a bit or a little bit, tiny bit about Mandarin or the Chinese language. And this ape in Mandarin or Chinese language, it means uncle, but it's your father's brother, but older brother. So your uncle, but older than your father. Ape. Uncle. Your father's brother, but older than your father. Yeah. Grandma or grandmother in Dutch, Oma. In Indonesian language or Bahasa Indonesia, we also, some of us call Oma, call our grandmother. Or sometimes you might hear the tiny bit Oma, tiny bit H or H, like this one, Opa sometimes, Opa. This one, sometimes Oma or Oma. There's like silence or tiny bit H you might hear, Oma, grandmother. But in Japanese language, Oma is house. In Mandarin or Chinese language, you can call grandmother, or some people might call their grandmother with guama or popo or ama or ama for grandmother. In Indonesian language, sama is same, but this sama is also used for casual or daily conversation or slang, informal conversation for daily, replacing with. The formal word for with is dengan, but most of the time we use sama for dengan or with. So I go something with my brother, instead of use dengan for with, I use sama. Sama my brother, with sama. Even though the formal meaning of sama is same, but it becomes informal version of with. And also sometimes we say it, we discount the initial, we just say it with ama, to say with ama. I go somewhere with my brother, sama my brother, or sometimes ama my brother. In Indonesian language, of course, the other words. And in Bahasa Indonesia or Indonesian language, for mother, sometimes we use also, we got it from Dutch, mama. In Indonesia, mama, or sometimes mama. In Mandarin or Chinese language, we have ama for grandmother. Ama. It's not ema, but ema. Ama. It's not ema, but ama. Grandmother. In Indonesian language, we have mak and we have emak. I put pink circle here because I found that something interesting. Before, I always thought this one is also the formal word for mother, but it turns out the formal instead, yeah, we have ibu for mother, ibu, but in the big dictionary of Indonesian language or KBBI, we also have mak for mother, mak. And all of these times, I thought this one is from here, but it turns out this one is informal. Ibu, mother, emak. That's why I put the pink circle, because I kind of found that interesting. Mother can be also mak or emak. So we can see here, this emak or mak is mother in Indonesian language, but in Mandarin or Chinese language, ema is grandmother. This ama is grandmother in Mandarin or Chinese language, but in Indonesia slang or casual is with. Ama is oma. In Japanese is house. And we can see the Korean one. Halmyeoni is grandmother. Halmyeoni. And mother is eomyeoni or oma or euma. So oma is grandmother for Dutch or Indonesian, but oma is mother for Korean. This one is the shortened version of calling from this one. In Indonesia, the shortened version when we have to call mama or mama, ma or ma. But in Dutch, mama, the shortened version when we have to call mom. In English, we use ma'am for madam or Mrs. or maybe for your mother, if you say yes ma'am or yes sir, yes ma'am, if you want to make sure of something or so. And in Indonesian language, from papa or papa, the short version pa or pa, when you call them, pa, pa, but in Dutch, pap. Thank you.